Ladies and gentlemen, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we ended up getting the Season 2 update patch notes. Of course, Season 2 drops tomorrow, January 28th. However, today they ended up dropping all of the patch notes early for multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. Obviously, this is one of the more anticipated updates because it's a pretty crucial update for the general state of the game. If this patch does not implement fixes and changes that drastically impact the state of the game, it's going to be a rough go for Black Ops 6 release. So we've got a lot of patch notes to break down here. I will have timestamps for the various sections between global updates, multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone alike. But diving right in, we get welcome to Season 2. Obviously, we've seen all of the marketing, all of the promotion for it over the past couple of days or so, including the roadmap. So we have a general breakdown of the content. We've already talked about a lot of that in previous videos here. Obviously, the patch notes here are more so focused on the changes, the bug fixes, gameplay adjustments, things of that nature. Of course, there are still breakdowns of all the content, like I said, of which we've already covered with the new modes, the new maps, the new weapons, which will be pretty exciting here within the battle pass. We've got 3 weapons in the battle pass. Gonna have to spend a lot of time leveling those up tomorrow. A couple of new attachments or aftermarket parts are coming throughout the season as well. New perks and multiplayer, new score streaks, the brand new zombies map, all that great stuff there. Like I said, we've seen this over the past couple of days. So global updates, here we go. Starting off hot with the Ricochet anti-cheat update. As previously discussed in our recent community update, we are ramping up our fight against cheaters across multiplayer and Warzone with new security measures deploying throughout the coming seasons. Updates include enhanced detection models for behaviors like aimbotting, stricter account trust and hardware ID to target repeat offenders, and new tools to combat dishonest behavior such as playing with cheaters or attempting to spam report innocent players. We're also focusing on more precise tools, including major upgrades to the kernel level driver and server side protections this season and continuing those in Season 3. These measures, combined with ongoing improvements and legal actions against cheat sellers, aim to deliver a more secure and enjoyable experience for everyone. This all sounds awesome. And when they talked about it in their initial community blog, it sounded awesome. What matters though is how this actually is put into effect. And we won't know until the update's live tomorrow with the 1.67 title update, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Typically for the first few days after a new season drops, the cheats aren't up to date with everything, so you don't see as many cheaters. But then, you know, day 4, day 5, week 2, week 3, you start to see all the cheaters come flooding back. So we're gonna have to see what the deal is there. It's gonna be a time will tell scenario, quite honestly. And they're talking a lot here. They're going to have to back it up or there will be absolutely no trust with what their word is, especially going into Season 3 with the other upcoming anti-cheat updates. We obviously have a new battle pass dropping tomorrow as well. New quality of life updates with challenge tracking. They say, we know our challenge chasers have been asking for the ability to track challenges, and we've been hard at work to add that functionality with Season 2, so you can track up to 10 camo and calling card challenges there. Players who don't manually fill this will have it auto-populated with whatever you're the closest to completing as well, and then you can track all of that very easily. We are hopeful that the challenge tracker and near completion system will help shortcut players to those. Then of course they give the general breakdown of what exactly you can be tracking there. Camo and camo challenges, players can now equip any unlocked special camos to a weapon as soon as they unlocked any 5 military camos for that weapon. Previously you needed to get all 9 military camos, so the threshold is less there. I don't know why there's a threshold in the first place though. Like, just take it off. If I get a special camo on a different weapon, let me use it universally. People want to use their camos. We've seen feedback from players about how the 250 unique camos in Black Ops 6 are underutilized because of the requirements. We feel the same way. Currently, we see a very limited window of time where special camos get equipped. In Season 2, we're changing this requirement to give players the ability to equip special camos earlier, while still preserving a short on-ramp of first needing to unlock 5 military camos initially. So, I don't know, kind of a weird change. Like I said, I just wish there wasn't any threshold at all. Challenge progress bars now appear below special camo and mastery camo swatches on the camo tab. The currently equipped camo will now be highlighted as well. Socials and channels added a favorites only filter to the friends list that can be used to display only your favorite friends. This is like the T-Mobile, like, you know, your Fast 5 or whatever. Who's going to be on your favorite list and who's not? This is going to be a big deal going forward, right? Player mic indicators will now appear when viewing the party channel. Sort by progression or sort by rank will now also be an option there. Dark Ops calling cards that you haven't unlocked yet will no longer appear as classified if somebody else views your showcase. Then we get into the multiplayer specific updates here. Weapons. Address initial issue where akimbo attachments did not properly display pros and cons, address an animation pop-up with certain muzzles on the GS45. For all weapons, we have a few global changes landing with the start of Season 2 that'll affect all weapons. The first is an improvement to weapon motion reduction with the dexterity perk, which will make weapons feel even more stable when jumping, sliding, and diving. The second is a response to feedback that the weapon animations on respawn can get in the way of combat. These animations are now immediately interruptible when firing, aiming down sights, sprinting, or performing other gameplay actions. Lastly, we are turning down bullet penetration significantly as we have continued to see cases where bullets are passing through too much cover. Our first step in addressing this is to decrease the maximum depth that bullets can pass through for all materials. We have longer term plans for that as well, so that's interesting. Weapon motion reduction from dexterity is improved to 70%, up from 60%. Weapon raise animations that play on respawn are fully interruptible, reduced bullet pen on all surface types. Magazine attachment changes. Another large-scale change we're making is speeding up fast mag reload times. Our goal is for every magazine attachment to have a roll across many playstyles, but we recognize it can be hard to trade away larger magazine sizes in terms of switching from that for a faster reload. We want to avoid adding penalties to extended mags, so instead they're just going to improve the efficiency of fast mags. That's cool there. Fast mag 1, 2, and 3 and the flip mag reload times have been improved by 10% on all weapons but pistols. Fast mag 1 and 2 reload times are improved by 5% there. All LMG magazines with 50 rounds or less have reload times improved. AS Val default magazine reload time improved, addressed an issue with the SWAP 556 Fast Mag 1. The following magazine attachments have had their ammo add times updated to match the intended timings. The overall reload times and interrupt times remain the same. So the C9 extended mag 1's been updated, Model L extended 2, GPMG extended 2, 3, and 4, and then the SVD extended 2. They also removed the screen flash from taking frontal bullet damage while holding a melee. On the rifles, Goblin MK2, this is just like its own specific section. It's just that important, I guess. The Goblin may be the most divisive weapon out there in the community. Some players love it, and a lot of players strongly prefer other weapons. We're making a small number of improvements to help the overall usability and consistency without affecting its identity. In particular, the max damage range increase will help with mid-range engagements, and we're giving it more of an inflicted flinch than the average assault rifle, so they're rewarding accuracy here. So the Goblin's damage gets buffed here in multiplayer. Additional adjustments: ADS in time improved, all hip fire spread angles improved, sprint to fire improved, tac sprint fire improved, flinch caused by weapon increase. So the Goblin's going to be much more powerful now in Black Ops 6 multiplayer. On the Compact, our design intent for the 3-round burst mod on the Compact is to give the weapon an alternative playstyle that trades some raw upfront power for more consistent mid-range performance. The upside wasn't as strong as we wanted, so they've buffed that. So on the 3-round burst mod, it's got damage buffs across the board here. The view kick strength is also reduced, so we'll have to see if that actually has an impact there. With shotguns, with this update, we're improving ranges and sprint to fire speeds on all shotties. We know some of these adjustments may look inconsequential, but shotgun balance in particular tends to live on a knife's edge. We want shotguns to play a greater role outside of our very smallest maps. We'll continue to adjust those. The Maelstrom has received some more pronounced changes as it was lagging behind the Marine and the ASG. It's now capable of a one-shot kill at very close proximity, and all its other ranges have received larger boosts than other shotguns. We're also giving it a small fire rate improvement too. So on the Marine, its damage is better at all ranges here basically, except for its max or minimum damage range, I should say. So at its longest range, it doesn't change. Everywhere else, it got buffed. Sprint to fire and tac sprint speeds were buffed as well. ASG, better damage at all ranges across the board, better sprint to fire and tac sprint to fire speeds. Maelstrom, better damage, but slightly worse range up close. So it can only one shot, I guess, if you're within 1 meter, basically is what they wanted there. And then range buffs otherwise. Sprint to fire, tac sprint to fire, and tac sprint speed all improved there. On the PU-21, it's intended to be more lightweight LMG with build opportunities skewing towards assault rifle handling and mobility. We're reducing the pre-fire delay to help make it more aggressive. So the delay is reduced there, better sprint to fire and tac sprint to fire, view kick deviation slightly reduced. So the PU-21 might be a bit more versatile now, basically. On the DM10, the gain twist barrel improvement to bullet velocity was unintentionally low on the DM10. There will now be an advantage to using that over reinforced. So if you want just velocity, now the gain twist will be more ideal for that. On snipers here, I like the sort of specifics that we're getting. There's not a lot of weapon tuning, but what we do have is very specific. Keep in mind, this is just for multiplayer. Warzones could be different here momentarily. We saw a lot of positivity surrounding the AMR mod 4 when it launched, in no small part due to its consistency with hit location multipliers. With Season 2, we're increasing the one-shot hit locations on the launch snipers with the goal of giving them all similar feelings to the AMR Mod 4. We're also making some small reductions to the ADS speed bonuses on quick draw grips. There were a couple considerations that went into this change. The first was the general power, as well as the body multiplier changes being a big buff. Another consideration was our fast mag buffs, which we hope will enable players to take those builds instead of what they were previously running. So on the frost line, its damage up close and in the mid-range is better now for those one shots. Upper torso and arm damage modifiers are nerfed though. Lower torso and lower arm damage modifiers are buffed. And then also with the attachments, quick draw ADS speed bonus reduced, and then on the CHF barrel now improves upper torso and arm damage modifiers and hand and upper leg modifiers too. On the SVD, damage buffs across the board here, and kind of the same deal with the other adjustments there as well. Then on the LR762, mid-range and long-range damage is up now. They also adjusted the similar things there with the quick draw rear grip, the CHF barrel, and then also the general just hand and upper leg damage modifiers. AMR mod 4 ADS speed bonus reduced on the quick draw rear grip a tad bit there. For pistols on the Strider, this launched with smaller bullet pen profiles than the other pistols, so they just updated that so it's going to be similar to the other ones. Sear 9mm, we've addressed an issue causing unintended sprint to fire modifications with the magazine on this. We've also updated the attributes on these magazines so that they're in line with the trade-offs that appear on other weapons. So that'll now basically just adjust the sprint to fire speeds for fast mags and extended mags on launchers. Last but not least, launchers are receiving some major handling improvements for usability and responsiveness. So it's going to be quicker to use the Sigma and the HE1 now. If you're actually grinding camos on these, at this point there's enough weapons in the game where you could skip these if you wanted to. For HUD, they addressed an issue that would occasionally incorrectly display the field upgrade ready after respawning. Addressed an issue where player names would not display by the speaker icon. HUD presets are now separate for multiplayer and zombies. That's a big W. For XP and progression, in SND, they fixed an issue where sometimes you wouldn't get match bonus there. That's a huge fix. Black Ops 6 launched with more calling card challenges than any recent Call of Duty multiplayer previously. It also brought back a 100%er and everything going on there. Some multiplayer challenges, however, have either been hit or miss or a bit frustrating, so they are going through and adjusting several of these, changing the challenge or making some of them easier. So score streak destruction challenges, they addressed some issues here where you weren't getting progress correctly. Players will now earn progress for camo challenges that require destroying score streaks, even if they do not deal the final blow for that score streak being destroyed there. I like that a lot. And then they have a bunch of super specific calling card challenges. In the sake of time here, if you want to read all the exact specifics with this, feel free to go ahead and pause the video. We'll just go through and name some of them though. Redemption Arc, TikTok Boom, On Point, Squint Test, Explosive Plays, Hot Dog, Headhunter, Speed Demon, Score Collector, Deep Cover, Switchblade, Ripped Up, Devastating Force, Hunt Them Down, Hard and Fast, and then Global Camo Mastery challenges. All have had some adjustments or fixes here. Again, if you want the exact specifics, feel free to pause the video. We know the Flowing Low Prestige 1 challenge is top of mind for many players, and the team's still working on a fix for that. That'll be fixed here shortly. Camo challenges on the AK-74 Vengeance Special Camo, that's actually been adjusted and fixed as well. They've also gone through and reworked some daily challenges to reduce the requirements for some of these, so it'll be a bit easier to complete some of them just outright. They also removed eliminations with full auto, semi-auto, and burst fire weapons, destroying streaks, getting kills with the combat axe or the drill charge as well, just to probably make those a little bit less daunting. So they want players to do more daily challenges, basically, is what I'd get out of that. They've also adjusted a few other daily challenges from tracking properly. They did update some mastery badges with the TAC insert, and then also the mastery badge used for the weapon score streak field upgrade or equipment will now appear correctly in kill cams. Spawn logic has been adjusted to continue our efforts to reduce proximity to enemies when respawning. We've also added the ability to conduct a live A/B testing with spawn changes to evaluate on a smaller scale, so hopefully that'll help for future spawn updates. They've also made some slight updates to various different modes here. With Overdrive, that's going to be a brand new one with some of the incoming bonuses when you get kills, which would be kind of cool, kind of like Cranked previously. Search and Destroy, they addressed an XP issue. Kill Order addressed an issue where the HVT icon would follow a Dreadnought. Free-for-all issues where you weren't consistently being counted as a winner if you were in the top 3. Kill Confirmed reduced the height of the dog tag so you can see players easier. Control B zone has been moved to where Hardpoint P2 is located. Equipment, perks, and field upgrades, and wildcards. Addressed an issue where lethal and tac equipment inventory was reduced when using Danger Close or Tactical Expert wildcards or resupplying. Reduced initial smoke grenade given from +1 to +2 with the Tac Expert wildcard. Yes, we're annoyed by the smoke too. We'll continue to evaluate. Addressed an issue where field upgrades would not be deployed in certain scenarios. Addressed an issue where the gear head perk did not decrease the time to earn field upgrades. Decreased the amount of weapon motion when jumping, sliding, and diving with dexterity, as mentioned earlier. Addressed an issue where Ninja could lose functionality at times. Addressed an issue where Ninja was not being applied to enemy players when spectating a teammate. Headshots will no longer skip last stand when using the morphine injector. With score streaks here, address an issue with care packages, an issue with the SAM turret, as well a couple of issues with the SAM turret actually. Medals adjusted the dive shot medal, and then also the snaked medal as well, so those will be a bit easier. General detailed weapon stat improvements, added new stats, and refactored the layout to be data driven. Addressed an issue in theater where projectiles could not be seen, kind of an important one. Addressed an issue where vehicles could visually disappear for some players during gameplay. And then training course entry has been moved from the playlist selection to the top right. With movement updates here, we are continuing to monitor Omni movement feedback, and of course, playing the game ourselves, we are currently testing slight reductions to initial slide speed and duration to improve predictability of engagements. Additionally, we're always evaluating areas for improved fluidity, whether those are specific to movements or other things in game. They reduce collision with teammates. That's a huge W. With ranked play, the following changes: you have in-game options now on PlayStation and Xbox for crossplay. If it's on, you'll match with everybody. On consoles only lets you only play with other consoles, and then off restricts it to just your platform. So if you're on PlayStation, you turn it off, you're only playing PlayStation. If you're on PlayStation, you turn it on consoles only, you'll match with PlayStation and Xbox. It's a big W there. Season 2 weapon evaluation at the start of Season 2 ranked play. PPSH and the Cypher will both be unrestricted for a minimum of 1 week. They're just going to basically test and see how that goes there. We've made the ranked play seasonal setback more forgiving in Black Ops 6 as we observed it to be too punishing in previous installments, so the reset won't be as harsh this season. Of course, we obviously have all our new rewards. The vote veto before ranked play matches will now occasionally be present. Will present a choice between 3 ranked play modes: hardpoint, control, and search and destroy on the same map there. They've also made some adjustments to SR gain and loss. Players notice that their personal match performance has a bigger impact on their SR gain or loss there, especially for lower ranks. They also addressed an issue that was causing all reticles to appear unlocked in ranked play. We then shift over to zombies. That was a lot of multiplayer stuff here. So again, there are a gazillion super specific fixes for Citadel des Morts. If you want to read the exact lines here, word for word, bar for bar, feel free to go ahead and pause the video here, addressing a bunch of issues, some larger, some smaller, some super niche ones as well there. On the training course, they addressed various issues here. Terminus also saw various addressed issues and updates and fixes go out for it as well in regards to the tactical raft becoming stuck, various different issues with certain parts of the map not working correctly, or there being bugs and glitches there. Same deal with Liberty Falls, but really Citadel des Morts is where we got so many bug fixes, which is obviously always great to see. For modes and directed, addressed an issue where the crafting table menu could remain open when dying at round cap. Automatic exfil will now begin after the current round ends instead of immediately. Automatic exfil has been adjusted to trigger after 6 hours instead of 5, so you can stay in the game for a little bit longer if you wanted to. General playlist updates closed an exploit where disconnecting right as a player died would save their game. Addressed an issue after joining, where joining after being kicked would give the player 2 of the same gobblegum. For gameplay, players who are kicked for inactivity will now be able to restore their loadout essence and salvage when you rejoin. That's a huge W. With weapons, addressed an issue where single fire would not count towards slaughter medals. Added a warning for players when purchasing a wall buy that it'll replace one of their current weapons. Addressed an issue where interacting with quest objects with long hold times would reload your weapon at times. Perks, Aether Shroud adjusted the Ether Dash augment to prevent players from being stuck in unintended locations. On PhD Flopper, improved that slider to work with omnidirectional slides. Static Discharge on the Tesla Storm addressed an issue where kills from that were not giving you essence. For score streaks, they made some slight adjustments and fixes for the chopper gunner and hand cannon. With loot, addressed an issue where intel was not unlocked after completing the Citadel des Morts main quest, and added Season 1 reloaded weapons to the mystery box. On the Amalgam, addressed issues where they would rarely let the player go immediately, which is kind of nice. Vermin addressed an issue where they could be hitting twice with 1 attack. That's huge. Vermin will now ragdoll properly as well. Sam Trial had a few updates here, scaling the hand cannon as well as fixing some issues there. Gobblegums, Dead Drop, Modified Chaos, and Quack and Rock are now available. Addressed an issue with Gobblegum restock. Addressed an issue where the exit strategy Gobblegum would not be usable. Addressed an exploit that allowed players to keep timer-based Gobblegums after they've been been consumed. A couple of specific challenges got updated here with Box Addict, Gladiator, daily challenges, and then also the Surveyor challenges where just some issues were going on with those. We also have some UI updates. Players will see in-game notifications when they complete Augment Research, address an issue where the elemental swords can be vertical in the preview, align the Gobblegum prompt, updated the in-game pause menu, added visual improvements to the boss health bars, address an issue where placeholders would appear momentarily when entering audio logs, added a location in the cinematics to view intel, the Gobblegum HUD widget will now be hidden when spectating, address an issue that allowed damage feedback to remain active during cinematics, improved visual information when editing Gobblegums, addressed incorrect navigation button text on the menu, HUD presets can now be separated for multiplayer and zombies. With graphics, they addressed an issue in third person with these swords, addressed an issue with the Soleil elemental sword, or the visual effect of the charged ability would not play correctly, addressed an issue where the glow effects from the crown would persist after dying, addressed a typo on the soda cans, removed fire effects from vermin legs. So those are all the Black Ops 6 premium patch notes. Now let's jump over to Warzone. So keep in mind here as we are going through all the Warzone Season 2 patch notes. If you are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with everything you need to know for COD, whether it's news, updates, patch notes like this, meta breakdowns. We've obviously got a lot to cover there soon. This is your one-stop shop for all that, so feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications to help get us one step closer to 1 million subscribers. And if you enjoy this video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated as well. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. We get our same anti-cheat update as we got over in multiplayer, since of course it's a global update. So updates to the kernel level drivers, server side protections, again, they have to prove it. We'll see in a couple of days time what the cheating situation is like. If it's better, fantastic, keep going. If it's not better, your words don't have any weight. They have no value anymore. We do have some new events upcoming. The Terminator Skull Drop and Shadow Hunt events will be dropping in the next couple of weeks with some specific rewards there. The Battle Pass is here too. Progression and Prestige. Address an issue that was causing the congratulations, you've reached Master Prestige after every single game. Thank you so much. This is the most annoying bug in the game, at least for me personally, after every single game, getting yelled at about how I reached Master Prestige. Address an issue that would occasionally occur after quick resuming Black Ops 6 that would incorrectly display all other players as level 1. Players who reach max level will now see a reminder that they have a Prestige available after every match. So they're just changing what they're yelling here. If you can Prestige, it's going to say, hey, Prestige, do it. After every single game. Players who reach max level now see a Prestige available treatment on the Prestige tile as well. Prestige Master Ribbons will now be displayed in the player details. Players can now tab between individual prestiges. Players can the player's current Prestige Master Ribbon and icon milestone be highlighted by default whenever they enter the Prestige Master screen. For camos, it's the same thing that we saw over in multiplayer. You just have to get 5 military camos now, and you can equip any special one you've unlocked. Then also, there is now that challenge progress bar below the special and mastery camos, so you can just see how close visually you are to unlocking that stuff. In socials, again, they added the favorites only stuff. Player mic indicators are going to show up, sort by progression and sort by rank will show up, and then Dark Ops calling cards will now display on your profiles correctly. Then the Warzone specific patch notes here. On Urzikstan, buy station locations have been updated. Gulag loadouts have been refreshed. The train, the automatic brake release timer has increased to 240 seconds, up from 60. So if the train gets stopped, it's going to be stopped for a hot minute. Area 99, 2 additional buy stations have been added. That's good news there. This current playlist is going to go all the way to the 20th. Presumably that'll be our next main update with Season 2 Reloaded. Ranked play trios on Urzikstan, Battle Royale, solos, duos, and quads on Urzikstan, Resurgence, solos, duos, trios, and quads on Rebirth, quads on Area 99, Plunder quads on Urzikstan. For ranked play, we obviously have a refresh going on here. And again, if you're on console, you can do crossplay completely off or console only crossplay if you want, which is huge. The tracker perk has been removed from the restricted items in Warzone ranked play. We have some updated skill and SR placement stuff going on here as well. Deployment fees obviously still going on. The usual stuff there. New seasonal rewards, very standard seasonal reset. General updates, all buy stations, including deployable and standard ones, now close at the beginning of the final circle announcement. Interesting. Deployable boxes, utility boxes such as munis, armors, and others can no longer be placed in the gas. So you can't spam and cheese like stims and stuff out of those boxes in the gas, basically. Score events added a new splat score event in Battle Royale, which triggers when a player is eliminated while parachuting or skydiving. Experience balance, XP is actually buffed across the board in all modes. That's solid for Warzone. Quality of life highlights. Advanced UAV has elevation arrows. I've wanted that for years. I'm so glad that's a thing. Warzone Barracks. The button layout in the Warzone Barracks has been reorganized. Ammo cache depots now function like munis. Pinging buyback flares is the thing now, so it'll be easier to see where players are buying back because you can live ping that. Match stat tracker, the font used has been updated. Detailed weapon stats have also been added, and new ones have been adjusted in the menu as well, which is pretty cool. Some stat adjusted by the attachments were not being represented. The new stats better reflect reality. Fade distance, the fade distance for loadout and cash drop crates while parachuting has also been reduced. In combat, the body shield, the victims are no longer automatically released midair. The outline of the victim does not show up through walls anymore. You can't see the victim's teammates, and you have to execute an enemy if you put them in the body shield mechanic there. With jumping, they increase both jump speed and successive jump height with one unmodified successive jump. We're reverting some jump penalties to the values used last year. So the essence of B-hopping is going to be like it was in Modern Warfare 3 Warzone. Parachute, increase the speed of the parachute cut animation, and when you land, it's going to be at higher velocity. So basically just getting out of a parachute is going to be way better now. That's fantastic. With perks, we have a new one, reactive armor. Your armor regens up to 50% if you don't take damage for 5 seconds. That's going to be a good one for sure. Adjustments, tracker, pings have been replaced with an outline that's not visible through walls. Tracker can now mark up to 5 targets simultaneously. Dexterity, the weapon handling component of dexterity has been enhanced and is now a default perk for all players. Fantastic news there. Never should have changed from last year. Mountaineers back in perk 1, and it helps you deal with fall damage. I will be using this. Veteran now provides significant damage reductions against the effects of gas grenades. With equipment, the munitions satchel now only provides 1 additional item instead of 2. Tacticals and lethals, maximum deployed tacticals and lethals reduced to 2 each, down from 3. Impact grenade, default stack size increased up to 3. When equipped with the munitions satchel, the max stack size is 4. Interesting there. So they're not really used a ton. They kind of want to push the players to use the impact grenades more, I guess. Thermal barracks, inner radius increased, inner damage increased, outer damage increased, so the thermal barrack is stronger now. Frag, inner damage decreased, middle damage decreased, outer damage increased, so it's mainly a nerf, but also a little tiny buff there too. Experimental gas grenades slightly increased the trigger height of this. The movement reduction has also been decreased there. Gas damage against resistant targets has also been reduced. Stim shot, strafe side velocity with the stim slightly reduced. The movement's kind of nerfed. That's a bit of a bummer. Spy camera updated the outline to not display through walls. Effect duration has been increased though. Proximity alarm updated the outline visual for better clarity. On the advanced UAV, there's the elevation arrows. I don't know why we said that again. Bunker buster, gas damage against targets with gas resistance has been reduced. On field upgrades, the loadout drop marker, the bounce factor for loadout drops has been reduced. It's not uncommon to see loadout drop markers bouncing far from their location. By having the bounce factor, which was previously comparable to that of a smoke, we aim to maintain the grenade-like behavior. So you're not going to throw your loadout and it's going to bounce 6 feet away and hit a weird thing and then go flying, right? Much better update there. Decontamination station, the ability to re-enable closed buy stations by placing a decontamination station nearby has been removed. You can't cheese that anymore. We get our Warzone weapon updates. This is important. Reload speeds have been improved across all weapons, with increases ranging from 5% to 20% depending on the weapon class. So for MW3, rifles is 15% faster, marksman's 5% faster, SMGs 10%, snipers 12%, handguns 5%, battle rifles 10%, Modern Warfare 2 rifles 12%, marksman's 10%, light machine guns 15%, SMGs 22%, snipers 15%, handguns 5%, battle rifles 10%. Then Black Ops 6 rifles 5% faster, marksman's 5%, light machine guns and SMGs are 10%, snipers are 10%, handguns are 5%. Reload speeds for flip mags and fast mags have also been increased by an additional 5% there. So that's a W across the board. Bullet pen is not going to be as good anymore. Walls are going to feel thicker. Weapon swap speeds increased by 10%, effectively replicating the effect of quick grip gloves from Modern Warfare. Reduce the sprint to fire penalty when jumping from 35 to 10%. That's huge. Reduce the ADS penalty when jumping by 25%. We want to allow different playstyles. There's not enough jump shotting, basically, is I guess what they want. So that's going to be cool there. We obviously have a couple of new weapons available in the battle pass. We'll be talking about loadouts and setups for those in the coming days, so stay tuned for that, of course. Make sure you are subscribed there. Then we get some weapon adjustments. They buffed the AK. I like that. I like the AKs. So the AK's range is better across the board now. ADS has also been improved, sprint to fire improved, and lower torso multiplier improved as well. The aims, leg multiplier buff, and headshot multiplier buff. On the ASVAL, default reload magazine is 5% faster. On the Goblin, better damage and range over the medium range, then also better range over the long range. Bullet velocity buff, default magazine and flip magazine size increased. Lower arm and hand multipliers buffed as well. The GPR actually got range nerfs across the board. ADS speed slowed, sprint to fire slowed, leg multipliers decreased. So the GPR gets a slight nerf there. Model L gets range buffs across the board and a leg multiplier buff. And then also the XM4. range nerf, damage nerf over the long range, and then another range nerf, leg multiplier nerf, attachment adjustments, 100 round mag, ADS speed penalty increased by double basically, buffer stock, horizontal recoil control bonus decreased by 15%, vertical bonus decreased by 12%, gun kick bonus decreased by 12%. The ease of use of the XM4 allowed it to dominate at all ranges. We wanted to adjust its optimal range and introduce more trade-offs when choosing the 100 round mag. Lastly, we acknowledge how powerful the buffer stock was in season 1 with these adjustments. We aim to make it less of a crutch pick. I'm glad to know my predictions for how they would adjust this was actually pretty decent. I don't think this is enough of a nerf. Like, you can just switch to the 60 round mag and it's going to be just fine. Like, in all honesty, 100 is overkill. 60 is still going to work just fine. It's nice that they are nerfing it though. There will be a little bit more versatility, but I still think a lot of players are going to just default to the XM4 here. For SMGs, the C9 has better range and damage there, so that's solid. Better damage in the mid-range in specific. ADS speed improved, sprint to fire improved, bullet velocity improved, leg multipliers improved. The Jackal only gets a range nerf, no damage nerf, so it's still going to be the king up close most likely. Not much will deviate from that. Upper torso and arm multipliers decreased, lower torso multiplier decreased, velocity decreased. Like I said, I still think that's going to be a close range beast. Compact, ADS speed improved, sprint to fire speed improved, KSV, better ranges across the board, that's nice. Better for sniper support, which it's already very good at. ADS speed buff, sprint to fire buff, bullet velocity buff. On the Bison, the PP919, worse range in the mid-range exclusively there. Still probably going to be very good because it's low recoil and consistent and decent in the close range and then even over some longer ranges. They did nerf the headshot multiplier though, and then also the leg multipliers. On the XMG, the buffer stock was also nerfed essentially in the same way that it was on the XM4, so it won't be as much of a crutch. Still very good though. On the 9mm pistol, they buffed the range. Whoop-dee-doo. Headshot multiplier buff, upper torso and arm multiplier buff, and then extended mag sizes are increased. I don't think that makes anyone want to use the 9mm any more than before. Anyways, with loot here, the available perks from ground loot have been updated to include Shrouded, Irradiated, Veteran, Reflexes, Sprinter, and Tempered. Lootable weapons, all ground loot weapon builds have been refreshed. Semi-auto rifles, burst rifles, and common through epic handguns have been removed. That's a W. New Season 2 weapons are on the ground now too. With contracts, completing intel contracts has a very low chance to reward a durable mask. Signal intelligence cash has actually been adjusted here basically, so which previously was 7,500 per player, have been reduced based on the squad size as follows there. So those aren't going to be as easy to bang out and get a ton of money super quick. Scavenger distance between the scavenger crates has been reduced. The majority of the time, objectives will now prioritize remaining within the same point of interest. That's cool there. Runaway Train, the event has now a 10% chance to occur in the 5th circle of Battle Royale. Warzone Tactician, Bunker Busters, and Cluster Strikes no longer count towards progress for that. Deadeye, the requirement to ping an enemy before eliminating, has been removed for challenge progression. They did some damage adjustments on the C4 and the IED to ensure better consistency when destroying vehicles. Updated XP widget for more info after the match. Audio, reducing reverb effects to improve directionality of footsteps, ascenders, and parachutes. That's a W. Adjusted the parachute audio for being too loud at longer distances. Players now hear if an enemy self-revived. I don't know why that ever got deleted yet again. And then we get a bunch of bug fixes, and these are probably all pretty important. Fixed an issue where the ghost perk would persist in the pregame, or from the pregame. An issue where cold-blooded did not properly counter tracker. An issue where the quick fix health regen did not activate properly. An issue preventing quick fix health regen from functioning when eliminating a player with a combat axe or a throwing knife. Super niche. An issue where the survivor perk prevented players from being revived. That's a huge one. An issue where weapons became inaccessible near interactable areas. Another big one. An issue with weapons falling through the buy station. Another big one. An issue where the experimental gas grenade gameplay effects lingered longer than intended. An issue causing tooltips to incorrectly display. An issue where MW2 and MW3 weapons were missing Black Ops 6 weapon stats, including slide to fire times. Visibility issues on Rebirth. An issue causing parachutes to always deploy when jumping off ladders. That's a big one. An issue where players are not able to go prone when reviving a teammate, where bounty contracts displayed a delay in showing completion in the UI. An issue causing players to spectate an enemy who did not eliminate them. That's another big one. An issue where most wanted contracts did not override respawn timers. An issue preventing selected operators from properly applying in the front end menu. An issue where the PRD audio sounded similar to zipline. An issue causing players to redeploy without weapons and preventing loot interactions. An issue preventing auto pickup functionality when items were on lower shelves. An issue where the scrambler effect persisted on the map throughout the match. An issue allowing players to launch themselves off a ladder using a stim shot. An issue where attempting to pick up one of multiple guns on the ground caused players to juggle them. I can't tell you how many times I did that. Every time I'm near a zip line as well, you just can't actually hit the zip line. There are so many bug fixes. Lock in, folks, we're speed running. Fix additional cases where UAVs and advanced UAVs did not trigger as expected. An issue where the precision airstrike notification failed to appear on the player's location. An issue where icons for off-screen enemies were not displaying properly. An issue preventing the self-ping icon from appearing. An issue where the loadout selection UI displayed placeholder icons and white boxes in the live lobby. An issue where the obituary feed overlapped. An issue where users were kicked from the menu when trying to prestige. An issue where the armory FTUE replayed when returning to the HQ. An issue where the enemy voice chat icon displayed as friendly instead of red. That's a big one. An issue where KBM buttons for emotes did not work. An issue where duplicate armor satchels did not trigger the inventory full node. Overlap issues with the Prestige Master screen, an issue where private lobby codes did not work, an issue with parachutes during jailbreaks, an issue with players only having 1 rock in the gulag instead of 5, an issue causing players to spawn in the gulag with rocks in Warzone ranked, an issue causing players to lose tac sprint functionality, an issue during infill sequences on Rebirth, an issue where crates could spawn out of bounds, an issue causing MW2 and MW3 loadout weapons to disappear, an issue where grabbing a loadout with a baseball bat caused it to appear as a throwing knife, an issue causing the spy camera to consume multiple charges when activated, an issue allowing players to call in more care packages than intended, an issue where Squid Game finishing moves did not actually execute the enemy, an issue where the zipped up score event medal did not trigger in BR, an issue where the hot potato grenade throwback medal did not trigger, an issue preventing the elimination card from appearing when eliminating an enemy in the gulag, an issue causing the primary weapon in the loadout to reset after a match, an issue where the player's HUD disappeared when redeploying, an issue where the recents tab and add friends did not work, an issue causing the recon drone to appear invisible at times. That seems like an important one. An issue where eliminations did not track for a player who downed an enemy taken hostage. An issue where team colors in the kill feed were inconsistent. An issue where the contract icons were not occasionally on the map. They would just straight up disappear. An issue causing the typing sound to persist after using a UAV tower. An issue with the bombshell challenge. Fix some dark ops challenges. And then finally, I'm out of breath. An issue where wins calculated incorrectly in the In Resurgence or BR Finish Top 10 challenge. Did you guys write all that down? Are we taking notes here, folks? If not, the good thing you can just replay the video. That was a lot. Obviously, this update drops tomorrow, and it's going to be a very much so prove it situation, as I've said a gazillion times over the last month. Tomorrow's update, once it's live and once we actually get to experience all of this, will be very telling. Way more so than these patch notes. There are promising things here. I don't think they did enough weapon updates, but at least they did some. Really, we're focused on the core gameplay, the servers, which nothing was really mentioned here, unfortunately. Don't really love that. And then how these anti-cheat updates actually affect the game as well. So there's a lot to look out for. You guys know I'm going to keep you updated in the coming days. What's going on? What went well? What went wrong? There's bound to be both. So if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in COD, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be really appreciated. Might help heal the voice a little bit. It needs some water, ASAP. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.